Like to go first. Good afternoon, everyone. Still some time. Guys, hear us? Can you see us?
Yeah, I can.
I'd like to go first. All right, let's go. Hallo, Paul. Ja, ik ga gaan.
Hello, Coach. Sorry, man. Just one question. The referees or match officials clearly doesn't have a clue of what's going on in the scrums. How do you guys prepare yourself for a match? Obviously, you know who's going to be the match officials and everything. But I mean, at this stage, it's a complete gamble. I mean, they could have just used the dice and throw out the dice and decide who wins the penalty at the scrums.
Yeah, Goal, I must say, I think it is a tough job to ref the scrums. Most of the time, there's so many things that change in the scrum and so many things to look for. So what we do pick up or try to pick up is what cues certain refs look for, and we try to give them good pictures of those cues and also good pictures that we know work for us and our system. So it is tough. I'm not saying it's an easy job for the refs. It is really tough for them to look at all the different things. If you think of bindings, you think of angles, you think of guys slipping, you think of knees on the floor, guys pushing early. So there's a lot of things to look for. So I do have sympathy for them. They are a team of three, and currently they are using the ARs as well to help them to look for specific things that they can't see live, like knees on the ground. So there's a lot of things I have to look for. It is a tough job. We just try to give good pictures. That'll be stability and control, and not to have like too much movement. So yeah, that's how we try to prep our guys. And then hopefully, if you dominate a lot of scrums in a row, you would hope to get what do you call favorable calls. When there's doubt, that you hope you get the 50-50s.
Thanks, Paul.
Hi, Julian. Sorry, Julian, can I ask one more question before I go? For you, it must be quite difficult I mean, the Lions are playing a very fast type of rugby, but you must also dominate in the scrums. Then you're sitting with a decision. Do you play a Carlos Sade that obviously is not a speedster but can dominate? Or do you revert back to speedsters in what you may call it, come scrum time? I mean, how do you wait on what do you base your decision if you take into account the game plan?
Yeah, that is a good question. That's a really good question. So you need to have that balance and think what game you want to dominate where. I'll always say my proppies are fast anyway. So you got to make them believe that. Make them believe they can run, and it's only a limitation in their mind. But yeah, so it is a balance to think between athletic guys that run fast or set piece guys, and it doesn't just go for props. It works for locks. It works for flankers. So it's a whole pack thing. So it goes according to your game strategy. What do you want to achieve in the game? We obviously pride ourselves in set piece, and we want to dominate set piece wise. And just need to get those guys that dominate set piece wise to also be athletic. I think that's the easier part from our side is to get that going. I hope it answers you, Carl.
Thanks, Carl. Liam, you're next.
Hi, Julian. Hope you're well. I wanted to ask you, this kind of ties into the first question that you got asked. Have you found a difference, sort of a discernible difference between the way South Africans referee the scrum and the referees in the Northern Hemisphere? Have you picked up a difference?
No, it's a tough question. I think when we were overseas, I think the difference is them. If I think about it now, it's just in South Africa, all teams pride themselves come scrum time all time. Whereas overseas, what we found is a lot of teams just try to get the ball in and out. So the refs don't normally have that type of decisions to make, if that answers the question. So the focus, I think, Tapa Henning is heading up the refs now for the URC, and I like the way they are doing it at the moment. They are chatting to us on a weekly basis and trying to get our viewpoints, and we send clips, vice versa, and we try to get solutions, because I think they also just want to serve the game. We want to serve the game. We don't want 100 reset scrums in the game. We want the right call to be made most of the time. So wherever we can help, wherever they can help, I think there's good processes in place. We just need to see those processes deliver results, and I'm sure that will come.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kenisha. Morning, coach. Hope you're good.
Very good assumption.
Good. Coach, I just wanted to just touch base with TC Tole. Over the past year or so, he's grown within the Lions setup, over just taking up that position of being a senior player, and also in his game, he's quite improved. And just for you, sitting down with him and just working with him, what are some of the areas of improvements that he has to work on to sort of reach that level of being in the box setup? And also, what can we expect from him going forward as the season just unfolds?
Yeah, no, Steve's really done well. If you think the growth he has over the past couple of years, he's really stepped up. He's taken up a senior role in the team, taken up a role where he's driving standards in the team. And I think he holds himself to high standards, and I think that's where the difference came. He does a lot of extras. He's got a bright mindset of wanting to dominate and prove himself. So he's doing that well at the moment. Part of his progress, I think, I'll challenge him. I'm always challenging him to his work rate off the ball, his work on the ball, where he's also improved a lot, and not just in set pieces. And I think if he keeps the progress in an upward curve, I think he'll keep knocking on the door for Bokala, because he does the right things well. And if he keeps progressing, he might start putting pressure on. And we never know. I hope he'll have the honor of wearing the green and gold. And that only comes with consistent, good performances. And I think he's on the right path.
Thanks, IT. Have questions?
Heinz,
Yeah. Sorry, Heinz, yes.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Hello, Julian. Ek hoop het gaan goed. Julian, difficult question. Actually, I've two for you, if you don't mind. One is obviously still on the whole Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere thing. Do you think it's realistic to hope for the philosophies to be the same at some stage? Or do you think sometimes it adds a bit of a flavor, when there's still almost, I want to say, Southern Hemisphere outlook, of officiating certain facets of the game, and the Northern Hemisphere one? So do you think at all, it's realistic to hope that both hemispheres' philosophies will eventually, become the same? And then just the second question on Steve Sitole, are you enjoying his understudy as well in Morgan O'Dear? He's almost like a rough diamond, and some people say he's actually a bit small still, in terms of weight and that type of thing. But he also packs a punch.
Yes. Okay. So the first, let me answer the second question while it's still fresh. Is I've really enjoyed Morgan's progress as well. He came to us from the Pumas, and if you see him at first, you won't think how strong he is, but he's massively strong, massively powerful. In the gym, he lifts weights that the big guys lift. So he's really a strong guy, and what I really enjoy about him is really competitive. So he's got that grunt that you want from your forwards. Almost not asking questions, but doing the work and then asking the questions later. So I like Morgan at the moment, and then with Steezy, like I said, it's good for us. What I really enjoy and what I compliment the guys on weekly is if we make it tough for ourselves here while we're trying against each other, it'll be easier on the weekends. And we have really good front rows that consistently put pressure on the other front rows, and that makes all of us better, and that makes us as a pack better. So that is what we hope for, and that's what we're getting at the moment. So Morgan came in, really our work rate, really our competitiveness. So liking what he brings to the party. Then the first question of the refs, I think what they're doing at the moment, like I said earlier, is that they're merging more. So I think Tupper was involved in Scotland, and he has a lot of Northern Hemisphere experience, and by him linking now with us again, the Southern Hemisphere. And the more we merge and the more we rub shoulders, I think the more it will get aligned. I think it's going to take some time. I think like everything in life, it's a process and it needs to take time. And now a place where the refereeing will be consistent. Like I said, we always had Southern Hemisphere guys refereeing Southern Hemisphere. If you think about the Super 14, the Super 16, the Super Rugby, and the Northern Hemisphere ref there. Now we've got to merge, and I think the more the merging happens, the more the refs rub shoulders, the more we rub shoulders with each other, the more aligned we will get.
Thanks for the Ryan. I see a hand up.
Sorry, I think I'm just going to give. Ross, ask a question.
Yeah, Ross, let's go.
How's it, guys? How's it, Julian? Sorry, I popped in a little bit late, so I hope I'm not asking something that's been asked already. But, you know, looking on to the Stormers game this weekend, quite a big scrum battle coming up. You know, you got Stalwart and Brock Harris, and you got Springboks and Scurra and Stephen Kitshoff coming up. Big one for the Lions, Oaks, and how have you been preparing for that one?
Yeah, it is. They're a good pack. I think they had a good battle against the Sharks the last 2 weekends. They also are, like I said, every South African pack pride themselves come set piece, and they've got like quality players. So it's going to be yet another battle up front. But that is what we look for. That is what we like. And I don't know if everyone's on the same page as me, but I look for those tough battles up front where you know you're going to be tested to the max this weekend. 2 killers meet, 1 must die. So that's how we want it. We want tough packs competing against each other, because that's how we get South African rugby stronger as well. So looking forward to it. I'll prep for the weekend. Yeah, we actually have our scrum session only later today, so we haven't had lots of prep. We've had good reviews and good previews, and then we'll see to get our system better for this weekend.
Simon, I see your hand up.
Yes, Nisu, thank you very much. Hi, Julian. Simon from Rugby Radio. 2 questions as well. A breakdown, and then I want to talk about Carlos Sadi. The breakdown and the policing of the breakdown. You've made mention of Tapa working with the Revs, and obviously there is a significant difference, it seems like, in the way that they're policing the breakdowns here, purportedly towards the Northern Hemisphere. Does that concern you at this stage? Is there something else that you're preparing especially your breakdown players are concerned? That's the first question. And then a lot has been said about Carlos Sadi's initiative. You've just made mention of just warming stuff up there in the front, and especially in the loose and the tight loose. There has been said about his sort of controversial engaging on one instance where he wasn't using arms and blah-de-blah. Apparently the guys that know more rugby about me and more rugby than I do, they consider this as a lucky break as far as the red card is concerned. First of all, the statement being made that Carlu has developed over the season. There's a tremendous development in his, not only his tight games, but his loose games as well. Is that something that you work with him, that he's on the verge? Be careful, or do you encourage him to be careful but still go and do what you want? I see that you're smiling on that question.
No, I think I was laughing at all the different opinions about that cleanup firstly over the weekend. Yeah, the one thing is I'm always for player safety, but the one thing that I grew up supporting rugby and obviously loving rugby, and I always loved the guys like Bucky's cleaning out the guys, and I think a lot of us fell in love with the toughness of rugby. And for me, I'm just scared that we lean too much toward. I'm actually in the dangerous water when I say this, but I don't want us. I think rugby does well by us still being tough, and player safety obviously is first prize, but we must be careful not to become a soft game. There's still a good clean out. We must reward a good clean out, and it's nice to see guys putting in effort to clean out well and put in a tough tackle and a hard carry, and because that's why I fell in love with the game personally. So to make a comment on that, I think there's various opinions. I think it wasn't after the whistle, his clean out. Yeah, was there arms involved? All of that, that's debatable. I think there was, yeah, maybe I shouldn't even comment on this stuff. But yeah, for the clean out, I think currently that's something I have been hard on him, is to develop the rest of his game and to be earlier in on cleans and to develop his rest of his game. Because his set piece is functioning well, but his work rate off the ball, his work rate carrying the ball, because he's a good carrier of the ball, because he's really explosive and he's got a low center of gravity. So I've been challenging him on all of that, and I think that's where his big improvement has been, where I am proud of his improvement. So I won't comment further on the clean up. I think I've set it up. And then regarding the breakdowns, I think what we've said this weekend is we conceded 6 turnovers, attacking breakdowns, last weekend or over the past weekend. So that's something we need to improve on. Obviously, they had Marcel, and I don't know which they are really good on the floor. But if we take the contest away by having cleaners in early, that was a focus of us this weekend. So that is something we will focus on. The Stormers are also good on the ground, so that's a definite focus for us this weekend, is to focus on our attacking breakdown and our arrivals, getting there nice and quick, showing good pictures to the ref, making it easy for them.
Thanks for that, Simon.
Sorry for the long answer.
That's cool. That's the debatable point. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Can we take 2 more? 1 more?
Julian, I'll take it definitely. We just mentioned Morgan Nodiers and Steve Kitshoff and Carlos Sari, all relatively young props and everything. But obviously with the financial situation of the Lions and the South African teams, how full is your what you call it, of props? I mean, you must start developing props at 14, 15 years old if you want to keep up with the demand of props and the demand of the other unions on the players that you develop at the Lions.
Yeah, it is tough. I think it'll be a challenge in South Africa for a long time. I do think it is one position where we do manage to hold on to our players quite well. If you think Kitshoff is still here and France is still here. I'm talking about the Springbok guys now. Vince is playing abroad, but Ox is here. Trevor now recently went, but he was still here until early this year. So we do manage to keep onto our props, but it is like all of us have seen over the last couple of years, that the foreign guys do want good front rows, and we have great stocks of front rows. And to keep them here is a challenge. To develop them is I think where what you said is we need to develop the youngsters. If we think of Banele coming through our system, and we've got Asa that's played for us a lot, but also still being young, and we've got Morgan being young, and Carlo being also young, even though he's got experience, Steezy as well. So we've got to keep developing and keep pushing the youngsters through and getting them to a place where they can compete at a senior level. And if you look at all the unions, they are doing that really well. Because we do have the talent in South Africa. I think if you look at our schoolboy rugby, we have a massive stock of great talent. And even though lots of guys want to go overseas or prefer to go overseas, we still have great guys here locally. And if we get guys competing at a good level, it just makes everyone better and raises the standard for South African rugby, which is what we all are after.
Thanks for that call. Guys, can we wrap it up? Everybody happy?
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. Enjoy.
Good luck. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
All the best.